Beards. Even though growing a beard and having a beard is a very personal decision, it's a strangely polarizing thing in the court of public opinion. Over the past I guess it's been about 15 years now or so since I've had one, I have gotten a lot of praise and compliments, but I've also gotten some pretty strong negative reactions. I've been through the ZZ Top comments. Back when the show Duck Dynasty was popular, I didn't think I was ever gonna stop hearing,
"Hey, Duck Dynasty."
The terrorist, the hipster, all the typical things you'd expect unimaginative haters to say. These days, however, with beards being more popular than ever, borderlining on trendy, you tend to get more compliments than hate, but you still get those folks out there that just love to hate things. Haters are gonna hate, man. What do you do? The one thing both sides do seem to agree on, however, is a gnarly, unkempt beard is pretty much unappealing to everyone. So today, we're gonna go over how to maintain that man mane and keep it groomed, smelling good, and healthy. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for 2023. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday and got to spend some good quality time with friends and family and enjoy it. But now we're in January and it's time to get after this shit. Beard care is somewhat subjective, or maybe variable is a better word. There are definitely some guidelines to help you along your path of beard grooming enlightenment. But because everyone's beard is different textures, lengths, densities, some guys have oilier hair, some guys have dry hair, some guys have super curly beards like me, some guys' beards are straight. You get my drift. Everyone is different though, so some of these things are rules of thumb, things that have worked well for me in the 15 years now I've been rocking a beard, but you definitely have to play around with different products, different techniques, and see what works best for you and your face fuzz. Also, this video is for you guys that are interested in grooming your beard. Making sure that flavor saver is looking good and smelling so good, the ladies want to curl up and take a nap on your face. Mustache rides, 25 cents. So if you're one of these guys though,
Real men don't do all this crap to their beard. We just rinse our beards in donkey piss once a month and let it dry.
Look, your boy is here fighting the good fight. I'm putting in the mileage to make you guys realize being well-groomed is a manly endeavor. Ladies like guys that are well-groomed and smell good. These are facts. I think most of you guys out there are on the train with me, but there are still a few of you guys hanging on out there. You know who you are. When we get to the blow drying your beard section, those guys are gonna wanna rip off their beer-stained wife beaters and immediately start typing poorly written, hateful comments, I'm sure. So if this sounds like you, just click off, next video, skip it. Or come on over to the dark side, my friend. Come on over. It's good over here. I promise you your significant other, if you have one, will appreciate it. All right, fellas. Well, before we get to the beard talk, let's take a second to talk about my meat. And let me tell you, when you're packing this much meat, it's hard to fit it all in such a small box. I'm sorry. I had to. Anyway, let's take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, ButcherBox. The good folks at ButcherBox are a great way to get high quality, humanely raised meat delivered right to your door. I have used ButcherBox as one of my main sources to get high quality meat for years now. The beef is all grass-fed, grass-finished, which can be difficult and or expensive to get locally. The pork comes from heritage breeds and is pasture-raised on a vegetarian diet, which is not only more humane for the piggies, but also makes for a much tastier end product, in my personal opinion. The poultry is all organic and free range, the fish is wild caught, and of course everything is hormone and antibiotic free. And it comes to your door in eco-friendly packaging, which is a nice touch. Point is, the folks at ButcherBox really put a lot of effort into everything being better for you, better for the animals, and better for the environment, which is all huge positives in my opinion. Little example. It all comes very nicely packaged, stays cold. Some of the things I like that I have in this box, pork shoulders. I love doing pork butts. We do pork butts a lot for food prep because we can make it, feeds the whole family, and we can eat on it all week. We always get a couple packs of their grass-fed ground beef. Some of these organic chickens I was talking about. Love throwing some whole chickens on the smoker. Sirloin caps. Big fan of sirloin caps. Picanha is another word that some people use. I've done videos on picanha. I think it's fantastic. Last but not least, my wife's favorite, the filet mignon, filet mignons. Super tender, awesome steaks. Everything comes flash frozen at peak freshness right to your door, so you don't have to go hunting locally and probably overpaying to feed your family really high quality meat. So if this is something you're interested in, click the links listed below to claim this month's ButcherBox limited offer. Thanks again to the folks at ButcherBox for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. I can feel the meat sweats coming already. I have the same relationship with washing my beard as I do with talking to my wife before she's had her first cup of coffee in the morning. I do it as little as possible. Now, this doesn't mean to be a dirty ass. We just talked about how being nasty is not going to get anybody any play. Washing your beard can strip away all the oils, really dry it out, make it break off. I usually only wash my beard like once or twice a week. Now, if you do something like, say, drywall for a living, and you come home every day looking like Al Pacino lifting his face out of that pile of booger sugar at the end of Scarface.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
You might need to wash more often, so there are some things to consider. One, the shorter your beard is, the quicker and easier the oils can get down the whole length of the hair shaft. Shorter beards tend to be a bit more forgiving for more frequent washing. Longer beards, a lot longer hair, it takes a lot longer for that oil that's coming out of your skin to get all the way down to the ends here. They tend to dry out a little easier. Next, always use wash or shampoo that is intended for beards. They are designed for cleaning beards and usually contain milder cleaning agents that are less drying and harsh on facial hair. I really like Beard Brand Utility Wash. It's safe for beards, and also you can use it on your hair, your body. It's like an all-purpose thing. So it cuts down on the amount of crap you need. But any good beard wash will work fine. Now, this is a good time to let me take a second and address something. You are going to hear me recommend a lot of Beard Brand products throughout this video. And for full disclosure, as we'll talk about later, I do have a relationship with Beard Brand, and I have released a signature beard oil with them. I always like to disclose any relationships with companies so you guys don't think I'm trying to be sneaky or pull anything over. I decided to make the beard oil with them because they were my favorite beard oil company out there long before I ever had a relationship with them. I've been approached by dozens of beard oil companies, everyone under the sun, and I stick with Beard Brand because they're my favorite. Now, that's not to say there are not a ton of great beard oil companies out there, because there are. And it's not to say that Beard Brand is the best for you necessarily. I always encourage people to test out different stuff to see what works best for them, because like we stated earlier, everybody's beard is a little different. So I don't want to hear any of this.
You're a shill, man.
Or any of that kind of bullshit. You've been fully briefed on the situation. A good way to clean your beard without drying it out is something called co-washing. If you haven't heard of this is what I do pretty much daily to keep my beard clean and smelling good without actually washing it with soap. They do sell things that are marketed as co-washes, but in my opinion, you don't really need to waste your money on that stuff. I just use Beard Brand conditioner. I scrub that around, move it around, agitate it in my beard, rub it through. That way it gets in there, it breaks up all the dirt, the grime, the queso. Because let's be honest, queso is like beard Armageddon. It's the worst shit ever. But co-washing does a good job of freshening up your beard, keeping it smelling nice, and not stripping and drying it all out. Not everybody is on the co-washing bandwagon like me though. Some people find that washing their beard multiple times a week actually feels better for their beard than co-washing. So just like with anything, try co-washing, try washing your beard multiple times in a week, followed by a conditioner. Try all different combinations of these techniques, and whichever makes your beard feel healthy and happy, that's what you should go with. Lastly, when you're drying your beard, when you're done washing it, don't just go all crazy with the towel and get all just aggressive with it, especially if you have a longer beard. Just kind of pat it dry. I usually run the towel down the length of my beard and kind of squeeze it out, get all the excess water out. Rubbing it around all over the place and getting all crazy is just gonna knot it up, and then when you get to the next stage of brushing it out, it's gonna be a fucking disaster. So now you're all fresh and clean. The next thing you'll want to do is brush that out before you wind up looking like Captain Caveman. Again, the length and texture of your beard is going to change what works best for you when it comes to brushing, but here are a few things to keep in mind while you're fine-tuning your own process. If your beard is short, a good boar bristle brush is probably all you're going to need. I use this one. It's a double-sided. It's stiffer on one side, softer on the other. Why boar bristle, you might add? Well, boar bristles are, one, they're easier on hair breakage and they cause less damage and stuff to your hair. There's some science behind but it actually helps distribute the oil down the whole length of the shaft, because you always want to get oil down the whole shaft.
That's what she said?
If your beard is a little longer, you may need to comb things out with an actual comb first. Just make sure you're using a good quality comb. Like, for instance, the ones Beard Brand sells, they're really good. Anything from the company Kent Combs is usually really good. What you're looking for is a comb that is saw cut, not formed. Cheaper combs that are made by forms usually have sharp edges that go down the teeth from where the two forms met up when they made them. And those sharp edges can not only be damaging to your hair, but it also makes it harder to brush through. The saw cut ones have nice smooth teeth that glide through your hair, nice and easy, and they won't damage your hair at all. Also, this should be common sense, but you're gonna wanna start at the bottom and work your way up if you have a longer beard. Shorter beards don't matter, you just kind of brush away. But if they're longer, you're gonna wanna work at the bottom, get those knots out. If you just start up by your face and start yanking.
That's what she said.
Why does my mind work the way that it does? Jesus. Anyway, if you just start at the base and you pull, that's not any better. This is going nowhere quick. Point is, you want to work from the bottom up. If you just start yanking down through that, you're going to hit a bunch of knots and you're going to have a bad day. If your beard is super long like mine or super full, a comb may be a little like bringing a knife to a gunfight. So you might want to try just a normal brush. I like the ones called wet brushes. I don't know, those are the ones my wife bought for the kids. I used one in my beard one time and it worked really well. They're pretty cheap, kind of a standard brush, but the bristles aren't super stiff, so they don't really pull your hair. And same thing, I just kind of start with the bottom. I brush from the bottom up, and then once you get all the knots out, you can usually go the full length. This works really well for me with a longer, fuller beard rather than trying to go over after it with a little comb, which can sometimes be a little tedious. This is a very important step, not only for keeping that beard smelling good, but for keeping it soft, manageable, and healthy. Beard oil is probably the easiest way to change your beard for the better. If you're not already using beard oil, for God's sakes, get some beard oil. I like to apply my beard oil fresh out of the shower when my beard is already all nice and softened up. You want to make sure you get all the excess water out though. Try to get as much of the excess water out as you possibly can before you have put on your beard oil, because, well, it's oil. And if you've gotten through like first grade science, you'll know oil and water do not mix. We're not trying to make a vinaigrette dressing here. We're trying to moisturize our beard. Get that thing as towel dry as you can before you put your beard oil on. As for a selection of beard oil, there are a ton of great companies out there. A couple with honorable mentions that I've used in the past that I actually do enjoy. Lox, LOX is really good. They have some great stuff. They use good ingredients, some stuff that smells really good. And Luxurious Bastards is another one. He has a lot of fantastic fragrance, small batch stuff, all made in the USA. Really, really good stuff. I have developed my own limited edition beard oil with my friends over at Beard Brand, so you can guess what my current favorite is. Bold Fortune from Beard Brand. Their new utility oil, especially in Bold Fortune, if I don't toot my own horn, is fantastic. And the reviews we've been getting from it say the same. It's not just my opinion. That scent has been getting a lot of praise. It's good stuff. With a close runner-up being Old Money. Now I say Old Money because Bold Fortune is a limited release, and the last time I checked, stocks were getting pretty low. So sadly, if by the time you're watching this video, all the stocks are gone, Old Money is a great standby. Well, what about butters and balms, you might say? Been in this beard game for a minute and I've used a ton of all these products. There's no real standard for what's a butter and what's a balm. I've had some companies' balms that were smooth and creamy like a butter. I've had some butters that reminded me more of a balm, but if I'm being general, very general is the key term here. A butter is a smoother, lighter, creamier product with oils, butters, shea butter, stuff like that, designed to act similar to a beard oil, only slightly heavier in your beard, and may provide just a tiny bit more control on flyaways and whatnot. Whereas a balm, again, these are generalities, guys. I don't want to hear any.
Well, actually,
in general, balms are thicker and will have your oils, your butters, and stuff like that, with addition to some ingredients like beeswax and other similar materials to increase the weight and hold the product has. Once your beard gets really long, the weight of the beard itself kind of does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and balms and butters aren't quite as necessary. But again, if you like them and they work for you, great. Everyone's beard is different, so I strongly suggest trying them all out and seeing what works best for your particular length and texture of beard. So while my beard is nice and soft, and warmed up from being in the shower, I get a good 6 or 8 pumps of oil. If your beard is shorter, a few drops may be enough. It's always better when you're talking about beard oils and butters and stuff like that. Start with less and you can always add more. Otherwise, you'll be leaving oil slicks everywhere. Your phone will be covered in a greasy mess every time you put it to your face. Your beard can only absorb so much, and then it's just an environmental hazard. Baby ducks are getting stuck in it. Children are crying. It's like a Dawn soap commercial up in this piece. Spread that oil, balm, butter, whatever you're using. Spread it around your hands real good, and then start to work it through your beard. Work it all the way up under. Make sure you're getting all the way up down at the skin level, and work that stuff through all your beard all the way out to the tips. I've heard people online say,
beard oil is really just for your skin, or beard oil is just strictly for your hair.
They're both wrong. Beard oil hydrates and nourishes both the hair and the skin below. It also helps soften your beard up. If you're in that dreaded early itchy phase of growing a beard oil usually helps. If your beard is longer and you're getting dry, flaky skin, beardruff as I call it, try beard oil. If your beard is dry and breaking off, try beard oil. Point is, if you have any fuzz on your face at all, use beard oil. After your beard is good and lubed up, I usually like to let that marinate in there for a few minutes before I move on to the next step. I found that usually by the time I brush my hair, slap on some deodorant, hit my face up with a little tige, the old beard has had ample time to marinate. Side note though, before we move on to the next step, the new beard brand utility oil stuff I was talking about, it also works great on your arms and like tattoos, dry elbows, to keep it from looking like you've been rolling your elbows around in flour all day. It soaks into skin really well. It doesn't leave you all shined up like a professional wrestler or anything. It's actually really good stuff. So don't be afraid with the excess on your hands, rub that on your arms or tattoos. I might lose some of you guys on the next step. I can already hear it.
Man, you might as well put a dress on. Real men don't, blah, blah, blah.
Listen to your boy. I'm telling you. This might be the one thing that made the most difference in the appearance of my beard when I started doing it. You gotta put some heat on that shit. Now, the length and texture of your beard will change what works best, as we've said with all these steps. And for some of you super lucky dudes out there that just have poker straight facial hair, this may not even be necessary, but you guys are in the minority. I feel like the majority of guys are like me, and we have super curly, coarse face pubes. And if you are like me and you have the face pubes, this can be a game changer. I've seen guys get really good results with these heated brushes. They're just basically like a brush that has a ceramic plate that gets hot. However, for me, they didn't work well. I tried multiple brands, different types, different heat settings, all that crap. They seemed to get hotter than I would prefer. Even on the lowest setting of most of them, they would steam and smoke when I was using them in my beard, which just doesn't seem like a healthy thing for your facial hair. Not to mention on top of that, they were hard to brush through my beard. It would always pull and snag, and it kind of sucked. Again, I have a longer beard, so maybe for shorter guys, this would be different. It might be worth trying one out, but for me, it just didn't work. For a long time, I just went kind of simple. I used a brush and a blow dryer, which worked really well. Showed that process in the last video I did about beard care I guess it's been probably about 3 years ago, so I'll link that up above. If that's something you're interested in, definitely go check that out. The newest thing that I've been doing for the last probably a little over a year now is this blow dryer brush combo doodad. So it's basically like a big round brush that has a blow dryer in it. Kind of like the simplicity of one thing like the heated brush does, but I get the results which were better with the blow dryer without overheating my beard like the heated brush. So if you put them both together into the ultimate thing, I just think it's great. It's like a heated blow dryer brush. I don't know what the hell you call them. Also, the bristles are super soft, so unlike the heated brushes, it doesn't yank the shit out of my beard every time I use it, which I really appreciate. I usually start underneath because the hairs underneath my beard are particularly puby. They're very curly under there. So I usually start down below and I just kind of spin the brush and work out from the top down. And I roll the brush from the base out to the tips of the hair. I slowly work my way around the whole underside of my beard. At this point, it looks super crazy. So if you need to post like a new profile pic, for sure this is the time to get a good pic because you look like Tina Turner in the 80s. It's pretty crazy. Then I turn around and I do the same process on the outside. So starting at my face, I roll the brush down and move out toward the end of the hair. I take a couple passes along my mustache. I work through the whole beard, repeating these steps a couple times, and I'm done. Usually only takes like a minute, maybe 2 max. This is a quick process. So for you guys that are like,
That seems like a lot of work.
my whole beard care process from start to finish is maybe like 5-6 minutes. It's not a big deal. The last thing I do, and I found this really helps, is I hit the whole thing with the soft bristle brush and a blow dryer set on cold with cold air. This is something a hairstylist told me a long time ago. Cooling the hair down kind of helps lock the hair into place and smooth down those last bit of flyaways and kind of keep everything locked in. This makes a huge difference in your beard, going from a bushy mound of face pubes to something that looks a little more refined, a lot smoother, neater, well-groomed in my opinion. The before and after, they're pretty dramatic. I think they speak for themselves. Also, nice side effect, it can give you a couple extra inches.
Really? Nothing.
I'm sorry. I can't stop. I'm sorry. The stash. At this point, you're looking pretty squared away. But if you're like me and you have a longer mustache, a little mustache wax goes a long way to making your life way easier. A little wax really helps keep the old cookie duster in place and out of the way throughout the day. I use Beard Brand Mustache Wax. Love the scent of Old Money, and it has a good, I'd say light to medium hold, just enough to kind of help keep your mustache where you want it to without it feeling super stiff. Keeps things feeling nice and natural, which is the way I prefer. I'll scrape a little dab out of the tin on the back of my thumbnail, kind of rubbing it in between my thumb and index fingers to warm it up and spread it around a little bit. Then I just work that through the old stash. I usually make sure to get some along the bottom, kind of underneath toward where my mouth is at, to keep the hairs out of my mouth. Put some along the top to keep those fly hairs that like to flip up and tickle your nose throughout the day. And then I work the rest of it all the way down through the tips, all the way at the ends of the mustache. After that, I do one final pass with the soft side of the boar bristle brush just to kind of make sure all the wax is distributed and put through and kind of keeps the mustache looking soft and not all clumped together. And Bob's your uncle. Mustache done. Now, you could certainly go further with this if you like. If you have one of those like handlebar mustaches that curls up or something like more stylized kind of mustache, go crazy. Curl, do what you want to do. But for me, I really like to keep my mustache more natural. And if that's what you're looking for, this is all you really need to do. Last couple finishing touches I like to do are totally optional. And sometimes I'll slap a touch of styling balm on the beard just to have it a little more hold and control of the flyaways and keep things a little neater throughout the day. I just put a tiny bit of the styling balm on my hands. I rub that together to emulsify it real good, and then I just kind of rub and pat that over the outside of my beard. This is really only something I do when I want to keep my beard extra on point, not something I do every single day. And lastly, the final touch for me that won't apply to most of you guys, the beard tie. Probably the most polarizing part of my beard. Some people are really bothered by the fact that I put my hair in my beard in a beard tie. It kind of cracks me up. But for me, if you have a long beard, it's the only way to stay sane. It keeps it together, keeps it neat, especially if there's like a breeze or any kind of wind. It's always blowing around. Keeps it out of my food when I like lean down to eat. And I even use it, that beard tie, for safety. If I'm doing something like with any kind of machinery or drills or anything, I'll wad the beard up even more and put the hair tie around it to keep it out of the way, because you can only imagine if you got that thing caught in like a bandsaw or a drill or something, talking about a bad day. I found over the past few years, my favorite, easiest things are just these coated little rubber band hair tie things that are used for hair. They're just little black rubber bands that are coated in like a thread or material so that you don't pull your hair. For me, the hair tie is every bit as much something for function as it is for form, but to each his own. As long as I have a long beard, I'll be rocking this Dumbledore vibe. Just makes things a lot easier for me. Okay, so this is the last thing we're gonna touch on. And for some of you, I would suggest avoiding trimming at all costs. I have seen people commit hate crimes against their beard with a trimmer. Truly horrifying acts of brutality against poor, unsuspecting beards. If you have a barber that you trust, it's never a bad thing to leave the trimming up to the professionals. If you dare to brave the dark, dark waters of trimming your beard yourself, let's touch on just a couple quick things. This is going to be extremely variable because depending on the style of your beard, so it's going to be hard to go into detail, but just a couple general guidelines. One of my favorite trimmers I've ever used is the Beardscape, I think it's called, from Brio. By far the best thing I've ever used, and I've used a ton of them. I've used the Manscapes and all that, and I'm telling you, the Brio is the one to go with. The battery lasts literally forever. I've had the thing for a couple years now, and I think I've charged it once. It's adjustable speed, ceramic blades, ton of adjustments for trimming. Like, it has this zero gap thing that it literally cuts damn near as close as a razor, all the way as long with the guards and stuff, as long as you could possibly want a trimmer to cut. It's also great for doing a little manscaping if you're so inclined. If you want to look like you got a Wookiee in a leg lock, that's up to you. That's on you, homie. But a little trimming to keep things from getting out of control is usually appreciated by your partner. Trimming the shrubs makes the house look bigger, my friend. I'm just saying. Also, having a good pair of scissors comes in really handy. Ones that are actually meant for cutting hair. I've seen some of you guys, you're in there with the kitchen shears trying to trim up your beards, and there are actually shears that are scissors that are meant for cutting hair. I would suggest getting a good pair of those. General guidelines to avoid like catastrophe and just really horrific things that I've seen. Go slowly. You can always take a little more off, but once you've gone too far, you can't pull back. It's too late, it's gone, you're screwed. In general, you want to take a line from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth, and that's usually the line. You want to try to keep something similar to that for the top line of your beard and trim off the stuff up here. I know mine grows up to here. I'd look like damn Teen Wolf if I let it grow all the way up, but don't swoop it down. Don't do the chin strap. Don't up here to your eyeball. Just simple. Top of your ear, corner of your mouth. Under your chin, I mean, I know I can't say much. Mine's obviously all grown out, but if you have a shorter beard, usually about a finger above your Adam's apple is where you want to go. Don't do the whole like horseshoe thing I see guys do where they trim all the hair out from under there. That's not a good look. It's like a damn monk's head, but under your chin. One finger above your Adam's apple. That's the rule of thumb. Just keep it simple. It's also where a lot of your fullness in your beard comes from. So when you scoop out that whole underneath, it's strange. Just trust me. Finger above the Adam's apple, Bob's your uncle. If you have a longer mustache like me, something I found to be super helpful is a small section here in the middle. Just kind of keep that trimmed up. You got to get some length over here to be able to kind of get it out of the way, but right here in the middle. So once I've styled my mustache, and I'll trim any loose hairs that stick out past the bottom of my lip, just right here in the very center. I don't know if that's the technical proper way or not, but it helps me with not eating my mustache all day when I'm trying to eat. That is one of the hardest things about having a long mustache is dealing with eating foods. And I have found that leaving yourself a little bit of trimmed area right here in the very center, it goes a long way to making eating stuff way less painful. All right. And I think that's it, guys. I think we covered it. I think we covered all the steps of beard care, grooming, we went over trimming, products, beard oils, washing, blow dry. We covered the whole gambit. Like I said, you kind of have to find your own path to a certain extent with this kind of stuff. But I think if you use some of these techniques and at least give them a try, tweak them a little bit for what works best for you, I think you'll end up with a pretty majestic man mane. So before we go though, we have to do a giveaway winner from like a video that was like a few weeks ago because I did 2 videos in a week. So we still have to pull a winner on that. The Brutal Truth video, we still have to pull a winner from that one. All right, let's get the old random comment picker pulled up and start. Josiah Elvis, I think is Josiah. I think that's how you say that. I'm sorry if I'm killing your name. Well said. This is how I approach everything in life. Great video as always. Hashtag Bold Fortune. Hashtag Tiege Hanley. Well, Josiah, congratulations, my brother. You are going to get a bottle of Bold Fortune sent your way. Thank you for being a subscriber and commenting on the video. Josiah, thank you, my brother. Hope you had a great holiday and you got some Bold Fortune coming your way, my friend. For this week's giveaway, I'll do Bold Fortune one more time because I think, like I said, we may even be out of them, but I have some of my own. So if I have to, I'll send you a bottle of mine because once that stuff's gone, I won't be able to do any more giveaways of it. And I think it's really great stuff. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So we'll do another bottle of Bold Fortune. So rules are, as always, you have to be a subscriber to the channel, smash that like button. And then this week's hashtags will be hashtag Bold Fortune, hashtag Man Mane. In the next upload, I will draw a winner live to send out another bottle of the Bold Fortune beard oil with Beard Brand. So, as always, don't follow for the scammers down below. If you have any Instagram, or not Instagram, what is it? Telegram, any of that shit, none of that's real. Ignore all that. I will draw the winner live in the next video. If you don't hear my mouth say it, you didn't win. All right, well, that wraps this one up. One more time before we get out of here, big thank you to the guys at ButcherBox for sponsoring this video. Definitely check them out and click the link down below to claim this month's ButcherBox limited offer. It's good stuff, I promise. As always, I will put links down below for everything we talked about, any products and whatnot, so if it's something you guys are looking for, you can find them. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to smash that like button. That always helps us out. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. We'd love to have you on board. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week and a good start to the year 2023. And we'll see you in the next video. Gotta take care of them beards, man. I tell you, my wife hated my beard for like the first year or so that I grew it out. I didn't know how to take care of it yet, and it was just kind of big and bushy. I'll actually put a picture. She hated it. And it wasn't until I started taking care of my beard that my wife was okay with it. So for you guys that are always like, oh, I wish my wife would let me grow a beard, or my wife gives me a hard, it's because you guys aren't taking care of your shit. Some women just don't like beards. That's true. They don't count. They have bad taste.